that's telling you otherwise doesn't know what they're talking about. You only get one life. And because you only get one life, that doesn't mean live it up. Because sometimes living it up is going to accelerate how far and how fast you fall off the track. But I knew that I enjoyed entertainment, which entertainment is not nearly as important as having something to say. And I always had something to say. I mean, I was the guy that a lot of my friends would call and you know, and believe it or not, I listened to talk to them. This is ridiculous. Why is it so zoomed in? It's like I tried to zoom it out and it won't zoom out. It's too zoomed in. God, it's so friggin' hot too. My air conditioner doesn't work. This is stupid. I always had something I wanted to do, be, and have. I enjoyed radio, and I enjoyed, you know, making my own programs and even doing the vlog type stuff because I had something to say. Oh boy, this part always makes me nervous. Okay, so anyway, there's an Alaska license plate there. Big bus thing. I needed to teach like my mother used to teach. My mother was a preschool teacher. My father did a whole bunch of different things, but my father did a lot of sales before I was alive, and he had a state job when I was, you know, alive. I don't remember how many years he had in there. I don't know how many years he worked for the department that he worked for, but he was an inspector. So I guess part of that relates to, you know, I've kind of always been in sales, I guess, trying to sell my take on the world. And, you know, kind of introspection, but also inspection. But I always tried to teach. In listening to my friends' problems when they would call me, and even, you know, in my more recent life, I try to listen and teach. You know, there's a teachable thing. And my mom used to have that teachable moment poem. And basically the premise of the poem is that it's really important that once you get to a teachable moment with anyone, that you teach a good lesson, because that lesson is going to impact that person for the rest of their life. And sadly, in this world, a lot of kids are grabbed at young ages and taught some very bad lessons. And I made this very angry video probably 50, 60 miles ago that was, you know, angry. It was just angry. But it was angry because I was angry. And I guess the only reason I'm not as angry now, even though it still hurts me, is there's a big problem. Because underneath that anger is a lot of frustration. I'm really frustrated, and it's made me angry. I'm frustrated with the fact that I have wasted so much of my life. And the things include me into my biggest sources of anger with my video game addiction. Was that I spent so much time trying to make myself enjoy games, some of which I really convinced myself that I was enjoying it. But you know, if any of us was able to stick an hourglass somewhere in our field of vision, we're playing our video games, the nature especially over the years, now they've progressed. Just about every video game is full of grinding. But the grind is your life. The grind is every grain of sand that's falling through that hourglass that you don't get back. I said in the beginning, you only get one life. Well, go to your history. And even in a game that you're pretty sure you enjoy, go to your history and look at how much time you spent in that game the last week. If it breaks it down. Go to your whole history and look at how many gigabytes, terabytes have been transferred, downloaded. All that data is like grains of sand in that hourglass. But look at the total hours that console of yours has been on. One day, for one reason or another, you're going to look and know that the world is passing away from you. You're going to look through a different set of eyes and be like, wow, it's a lot of years that I remember. Your first semblance of adulthood comes when you realize how selfish you are, how selfish you've been, and how that selfishness has added up to so much wasted time that's gone, and it's just gone. For anybody that doesn't play video games, how much time have they wasted listening to music? If the music is really that uplifting and you're hearing it over and over again, be like, oh, I love this song. Write down the lyrics. Write them down. Has that helped you? Has that become an anthem of distraction in your life? Every word that you've written on that piece of paper is a grain of sand that's fallen through that hourglass. We don't really just watch TV anymore. We stream. Well, most of us will say, I'm not really watching, it's just on. But it's always there. Just soaking up those hours. YouTube somewhere had a thing that would track your watch time, and I think they probably just found a way to hide it. Cell phones have some kind of thing that you can get to if you're savvy enough that shows how much time you spent using the phone. But think about it. If you can't find the things that actually show you, just think about it. Actually invest a few moments of your time and think about how much time you spend. And regardless of keeping it in the present, putting it in the past, how much time you've spent. Most of us never even realize that we'd be as old as we are. And that comes at a lot of different ages. But once you make that recognition, wow, I never even thought I'd be as old as I am. But I am. I remember plenty of times not even thinking this far ahead. But even when I did, I thought I'd be long gone by now. And sadly, for some of us, you may even have thought, well, I kind of wanted to be gone by now. That's really sad. Because you only do get one ride. Now, I've heard more and more, and I keep hearing the voice inside of me, which is why I was so angry before I was talking about this. What you're doing is a lie. You're lying to yourself. You're trying to change what's a lie into the truth. You're trying to say, you know what, well, I really enjoy it, but most of the time that I spend just sitting there, I'm sort of creating a inside my own brain that, boy, I sure wish I had more meaning to my life than this. And instead I've just talked over hundreds, 200s, 400s of hours into this craziness. And then when I get angry if a save doesn't work out, my character slips off the cliff, and I just, oh my God, I gotta go all the way back to the checkpoint. Oh man, the last time I saved I was here. Oh, I didn't back it up right. And then I'm angry. Well, why am I angry? Oh, I gotta spend all that time again. But underneath all that anger, and see, some of you that watched me could laugh at my anger, and in jest, if I want to make fun of myself, make myself feel a little easier to handle, I can laugh at my own anger, things I've been frustrated about. But you know what? It really isn't funny, because at the end of the day, my biggest frustration is how much time I've wasted doing a lot of stupid things, lying to myself. There is no bigger liar I know than me. That's why lying bothers me so much. So I've deluded myself into believing that I was having a good time. I need to teach people. But where I work now, I don't really get to pick the lessons that I'm teaching. Wow, is that an elk? That ain't a horse. It's hot here. I didn't think that this was their climate. Maybe it was a horse. I don't know. I don't get to teach people in the proper setting. So, for whatever's left of YouTube, or for whatever's left of something, I'd have to create my own school to really teach the way I want you to learn. That's all I really want. It's not for any really selfish reasons other than I want you to save your own life so that you don't waste as much time as I did, and sometimes that I still do. I'm about to start my work semesters again real soon. So I'm trying to take full advantage of every moment that I have left that's not claimed. But part of me, even if I'm not very good at it, part of me's only ever wanted to be a teacher, but an inspector also, to be able to see, look, this ain't right. Stop lying to yourself. You gotta learn what really, really matters. And what really matters is the truth. And you can't hide from the truth. It's hurting you. The more you keep telling yourself it's okay, or it's the best I got, or whatever makes you pick up that controller or your phone, whatever's making you do it, it just keeps it gnaws at your brain, because it's like, well, it's the best I got, but that doesn't make it true. You're still lying to yourself. It's keeping you from what's happening all around your face. There's people, there's family drifting farther and farther apart from each other. There's people that I care about that I can't even talk to. Some of it is because I can't find the words. Some of it is because they're doing something. They've chosen different things, but I'm not trying to pass a judgment. I'm just trying to say, look, if there's anything that my teaching can do to help, I just tell yourself the truth. Because you can't hide from the truth. You can't. You can misshape your own brain enough to almost develop an alternate identity. But you got to look at yourself. You got to be like me. I'm staring at this thing right here, seeing me, knowing what you've let yourself become. And when the truth is there, that's what's the hardest to look at. You see the truth. Man, I almost didn't see this lane shift here. They had the one lane closed and then they shifted, and I was too busy looking at this stupid camera here. Oh man, this was a bad idea. The closer I get to my destination, the more I'm worried about my return trip. I got 57 miles to where I was trying to get to. I still don't know if this is a good idea, especially in this old car. I'm gonna try. But see, unlike when you do things wrong, when you do something that's wrong, there's this thrill of if you go and pull it off or not. But when you start to do something that's right, you realize how much more wrong you're surrounded by. And part of my anger and all that stuff that I was going through on my last video was directed at this news stories. Based on this particular truth does not depend on a majority vote. Right is still right, even if everybody thinks it's wrong. And wrong is still wrong, even when everybody thinks it's right. That's the problem. Why do we get so angry at each other? Why is it so much easier to retreat to political corners and postures? Because we're lying to ourselves. For one reason or another. We have to keep reminding ourselves of our own talking points, because it's not all true. Keeping this respective distance from each other and realizing some of this stuff is really just keeping us in our corners. The truth doesn't require your consensus. The truth is there, and there's nothing you can do about it. But when you live according to that truth, even though all this stuff is around you, all of this lie is around you, it starts to become a little bit easier to at least look at yourself. If there's anything that I can teach you, then that's the kind of school I want to create. I just want to help. If you don't want my help, I'm sorry. I tried.